Kuldīga, also known as Kuldīga in German, is a town in the Kurland region of Latvia, situated in the western part of the country. It serves as the center of Kuldīga municipality and has a population of approximately 13,500 residents. The town was first mentioned in historical records in 1242 and joined the Hanseatic League in 1368. During the 17th century, Kuldīga, along with Jelgava, was one of the capitals of the Duchy of Kurland from 1596 to 1616. Kuldīga is an ancient town in Latvia's western region of Kurzeme, known for its distinctive architecture, which is included in the UNESCO World Heritage Sites list. St. Catherine is considered the patron saint of Kuldīga, and the oldest church in the town is named after her. The foundation of this church was laid as early as 1252, and it has been remodeled several times over the centuries. The small river Aleksupite runs through the very center of Kuldīga's old town, flowing along the walls of houses. The old town around this small river is the only remaining 17th to 18th century ensemble of its kind in the Baltic states. A 4.2-meter high waterfall on the Aleksupite is the highest in Latvia. Additionally, the Venta Rapid, a 240-meter wide natural rapid on the Venta River, is the widest in Europe. Not far from this rapid is the Kuldīga Brick Bridge, built in 1874, which is the longest bridge of its type in Europe. Kuldīga was recognized as an Eden destination in 2007. The history of the ancient town of Kuldīga can be traced back to its strategic location at the crossroads of the river Venta's waterways and land routes connecting the Prussian lands with the lower reaches of the river Daugava. The ancient Curonian town of Kuldīga, featuring a fortified castle mound and a settlement, was located 3.5 kilometers to the north, down the river Venta on its left bank. This castle mound can still be seen today, situated on a bank of the river Venta between the deep gully of the river Kuldīga and the ancient valley of the Venta. The site of the castle itself spans several hectares, but together with the old city of Kuldīga, it covers an area of more than 10 hectares. There might have been a port by the river Kuldīga. On April 19, 1242, the Livonian Order of Knights received the master's permission to build a castle on the banks of the river Venta. This is the oldest preserved written document mentioning Kuldīga, marking it as the year of the town's foundation. The castle of the Livonian Order of Knights was constructed on the left bank of the river Venta by the ford, using dolomite from the riverbed as construction material. By 1263, the castle and surrounding settlements were already referred to as the town of Kuldīga, with its town rights based on Riga city rights. On April 28, 1355, the order's master, Goswin von Heracke, allocated new land areas and granted the town a new privilege along with a coat of arms featuring the image of St. Catherine. From 1439, Kuldīga, also known as Kuldīga, was given the privilege to hold a weekly market. The town was formed by merging three main populated areas: the town itself, the small village of the castle, town of the Kuronians, and the village on the hill, known as Kalna Miests in Latvian, located in the area of Kalna Jela today. The Komtur resided in the castle of the Livonian Order with his 12 knight brothers and so-called stepbrothers, who managed the economic life. The Komtur also led the Komture of Kuldīga, which included Derby, Sabil, Skrunda, Aisput, Alsunga, and Saldus, along with Kuldīga. After the establishment of the Duchy of Kurland and Semigalia in 1561, a new era began in Kuldīga's history. The first duke, Gotthard Kettler, chose the former order castle as one of his residences. He and subsequent dukes supported the town's economic development by reaffirming its former town rights. When Duke Gotthard passed away, the duchy was divided into two parts, and until 1618, Kuldīga served as the residence of his youngest son Wilhelm and as the capital of Kurzeme. The town benefited from trade with Riga and Jelgava due to taxes on goods transported across the bridge. However, in 1615, the bridge was destroyed by floods, causing significant losses to the town. In the same year, a major fire devastated much of the wooden structures in Kuldīga. After the town was reconstructed, a new market square was established, now known as the Square of the City Council, and a new town hall was built, which is currently located at Bažnykas iela 5. This shifted the town's center from its old location near St. Catherine's Church to the present square of the City Council. The wealthiest citizens and merchants built their houses around this new town center. In the latter part of the 19th century, small industrial companies began to emerge in Kuldīga. Some of these companies grew into factories employing more than 100 workers. The largest factory in Kuldīga was Vulcans, which produced matches. Established in 1878 and closed in 2004, the factory's matchbox labels featured an image of a deer. The second largest factory was Vintilers Tuki, Additionally, Kuldīga produced items such as needles, cigars, soap, vodka, liqueurs, and mineral water. Beer brewing had deep roots in the town's tradition, with beer being brewed in the Order Castle, the Duke's Manors, and within the town itself. During this period, many new buildings were constructed, including residential, municipal, and public structures. After several centuries, Kuldīga received a new bridge across the river Venta, built between 1873 and 74. A new town hall was constructed in 1868, along with the Orthodox parish house and a church on Lipahasiela, a prison which now serves as a post office, the House of Latvian Society, currently the Center for Culture, the German Gymnasium, secondary school, on Kalna Iela 19, and several other buildings. By the time World War I approached, the number of local inhabitants had doubled, reaching 13,000. During World War II, the town was under Soviet occupation from 1940, and then under German occupation from 1941 to 1944. Kuldīga is a small and attractive town in Kurzeme, which has always been admired and praised by poets and painters. The historical city center, which developed in the 17th and 18th centuries, has still preserved the old wooden buildings which form small and narrow streets. The oldest wooden building in Kurzeme, put up in 1670, can be found near the town square. The old town hall was built in the 17th century. The town square, since the very origins of the settlement, was a place where townspeople used to gather. The tradition has survived. The pulse of the town is best felt in the central square, a venue for weavers' exhibitions, traditional festivities, and other events. The Venta waterfall, or Ventas Rumba, is the widest waterfall in Europe. This 240-meter-wide naturally formed waterfall is associated with a number of legends and historic events. In spring, one can watch the fish jumping up the ledge. Due to this, Kuldīga was once famous as a place where they catch salmon in the air. The old brick bridge across the Venta was built in 1874 and is the longest bridge of this kind in Europe, 164 meters. It was built according to 19th century standards, 500 feet long and 26 feet wide, allowing two carriages to pass each other. It consists of 7 spans of brick vaults. During World War I, 2 of the spans were blown up. The race of the naked over the bridge has become an annual tradition for midsummer nights. The Alexipite River flows directly along the walls of many buildings, which is why Kuldīga has been called the Venice of Latvia. Initially, the buildings of the town center were constructed as the suburb of Kuldīga. In 1701, during the Great Northern War, the Swedish army invaded Kuldīga Castle, and in 1709 it became uninhabitable. But in the 19th century, the castle ruins were relocated. Alexipite waterfall was created in the 17th century to use the stream to operate the first paper mill in Kurzeme. An annual race is held on the Alexipite when the contestants run directly along the river bottom. St. Catherine's Church was originally built in 1252. However, it was built anew with Baroque-style wood carvings on the altar. The church was given the name of St. Catherine, the patroness of the town. One of the most successful rulers of the Duchy of Courland, Duke Jacob, was baptized in this church, and his wedding to Princess Louise Charlotte of Brandenburg also took place here. Lipaja Street is a pedestrian street with several 17th to 20th century buildings, interesting doors, and special windows. Sculptress Livia Rzevska's Sculpture Museum was founded in 2003. The visitors may see more than 15 sculptures characterizing the Latvian nation, its strength, unity, and love. The Rizupe sand caves make up the longest cave labyrinth in Latvia, about 2 kilometers total, with 460 meters that can be toured. During Duke Jacob's reign, the sand from Rizupe sand caves was taken by ships abroad for glass production. One of the largest buildings in Kuldīga, located at 1905 Street 6 and known for its splendorous interior in marble with gilded details, is the Jewish synagogue. Documents in ancient Hebrew describing the construction of the building in 1875 are located in the Kuldīga District Museum. It was built during the reign of the Tsar Alexander II and was the center of a vibrant Jewish community. The synagogue was part of a larger complex with an adjacent prayer house, the Jewish sepulchre, and a Jewish school, which can still be seen today. The Jewish community had been active since the settlement in the Duchy of Courland in the 16th century. Most of the first immigrants came from northwestern German territories, but around the mid-17th century, unrest in Poland caused an influx of Jews from that region. By the 18th century, the Jewish population of Kurzeme played an active role in the economic life of the province. In 1941, the synagogue became a trap when all of Kuldīga's Jews were imprisoned in the synagogue and held there for several days by Nazis and Latvian sympathizers, before being divided into smaller groups and shot in the nearby forests. Shortly after the extermination of Jews, Germans set up food storage in the synagogue. Later, during the first years of the Soviet Union, A grain house was set up inside and later abandoned for a couple of years. In 1958, the synagogue was transformed into the Cinema Kurzimi. It contained 450 seats and a reading room. It remained a cinema until 2003, after the reinstatement of Latvian independence. In later years, there was also a cafe and nightclub. As of 2011, the synagogue was completely transformed into the central library of Kuldīga and a performance space. The building in its present state is stately and pristine, but there are no exterior signs of the building's Jewish past, such as Stars of David. The roof ornaments, which can be seen in old photographs of the synagogue, are still missing. 3 bare plinths, like chimneys, mark the gables on either side of the building. There is, as of August 2017, a plaque explaining the history of the building.
Don't forget to subscribe to World Wonders Unveiled and turn on notifications.